Hi, good evening. Good to see you. So this is our Tuesday night Yin class, and I'm Jane. If you haven't already, just grab some stuff around you. If you don't have yoga blocks, that's fine. Just grab a blanket or a towel, a couple of cushions off the couch is perfect. And maybe in place of yoga blocks, a couple of large books or something like that. But really, we can make do with some large cushions. We're going to be doing a little bit of lunging, and to bring the floor up to you, the blocks are useful. But I've also got a large bolster that I'm going to run under my front leg. So we'll just make do with what we've got. So make sure you're nice and comfy. Turn some lights off, light a candle, and we'll get started. So this is Hunter. Apparently he's joining me tonight. He doesn't usually. We are going to be looking at the stomach meridian tonight. And when we look at the meridian lines in the body, it's quite a nice one. It's because it covers a large area of the body, so it can leave you feeling nice and balanced. Obviously, the two organs we look at are the stomach and the spleen. So we're going to be doing a little bit of work, not so much stretching those areas, but just bringing our breath and our awareness into those areas, just to see if you can find some release. Okay, so a little bit of the stomach meridian goes in and around the jaw and things like that. So just see if you can really focus on relaxing around the face and the jaw and the poses as well. See you later. There you go. All right, so we're going to get started in a comfortable seat. If you're quite open here and it feels okay to from the get-go, you can come into square pose, into double pigeon, but we're not wanting to be in a real place of intensity just to start. So we're just going to spend a couple of minutes dropping in. So if you're more comfy in Sukhasana and cross-legged pose, that's also fine. Perch yourself up on something. I'm just sitting on a blanket. You could sit higher up on a block. That helps the lower back relax and the pelvis gently tilt forward. You choose there. And so as you settle into that still position, close your eyes. Feel your sit bones heavy. Use your exhale as a vehicle for this. It's taking a sigh down into your hips, feeling both sides of the pelvis heavy. And just start to interweave your breath up through the spine. Let that be a little more fluid, a little lighter, in opposition to those heavy hips. Maybe even feeling your upper body just gently swaying like a tree in the breeze. Responding to your breath. Just finding that state of ease. For the next couple of minutes, I invite you to drop in. So if for you that means to remain upright, go for it. Or if it calls you to, start to lean forward. Maybe bringing some props for the upper body to nestle into. Even bowing the head and softening the upper back. And really do just that. Drop in. Drop into your body, into that state of inner awareness. Acknowledging sensations. Acknowledging where your breath is. So acknowledging any emotions, how you're feeling, your mood, what you've brought with you onto the mat. Just sit with that for the next minute or so. No need to brush it aside. No need to pretend it's not there. See though if you can just find some even ground with your breath. And all of a sudden we're able to be with any thoughts, any emotions, without them dictating how we behave, how we react. Really drop into these last couple of breaths. As you take your next inhale, if you're folded forward, start to walk your way back super slow. Lean your weight back into your hands. Very slowly release your legs. Go carefully. Give them a little shake out for a moment. And cross the opposite foot over. So if you're in Sukhasana, it will probably be the more unnatural side for you. Or stacking that ankle over. If you're taking the square pose and this leg's really elevated, sliding a cushion under there could just be the release that upper leg needs, the hip. Feel like you're almost falling off the front of whatever you're sitting on, encouraging the pelvis to gently tilt. And even though we begin again in the physical sense, let us see if we can pick up where we left off in that energetic sense and that sense of awareness, and that connection with our breath. Feel free to stay upright, or if it feels good, even just the slightest of tilts forward, we'll go ahead and drop right in. And decide what dropping in means for you. Just an energetic release that you need. There's been a lot of movement in your day. The brain's working and moving around in your physical body. How good does it feel just to stop and drop in? Last minute here. Explore the length in your breath. Sit with any discomfort you experience. Last couple of breaths. Beautiful. And as you inhale, slowly walk back up. Sometimes when working our hips, we get these desires just to run a mile. Be okay with that and just see if you can sit with any of those desires. Often just beyond them is when the magic happens. All right, so just give those legs a little shake out. And we're going to take the right leg out to the side and bring the left leg into the inner seam of the leg. Again, just staying perched up on your support. If the upper legs are high off, if you're sitting up on something like a block, just placing blankets under the legs to support them so they're not feeling like they're hanging there. And then from here, we're just going to start to turn the belly button towards that extended leg. And you might need to walk that knee in a little bit, feeling the sit bones that weight down. And at the same time, feel the rib cage grow away from the pelvis. Deepen in through this hip crease of the straight leg. And then start to lay yourself forward over the extended leg. And straight away, you may feel like you are really restricted in the back of the leg, or there's something strong in the lower back. You could always soften the load by bending, but placing something underneath that knee so you can nestle in a little more. And not only that back line we feel here, also wraps around into that opposing side of the lower back. So if that's particularly strong, again, walk the knee in a little further, or bring your body closer to the midline and then just ease your way over until you find that little edge. So it's the beauty of practicing something like Yin at home. We're able to really tune in to how it feels in our bodies and move out of any of that state of ego and how we think it should look or how the person next to us looks. just make the right shape for us to have a nourishing experience. As you feel an edge maybe start to change, start to roll this left shoulder, so the same hand as the bent leg open, bringing these lower ribs forward, and move into more of a side bend here. So this top arm can either just hang, or you might even rest it into the lower back. And then, as I said, we want to stimulate into the side of the neck and the side of the jaw, the face, as the stomach meridian runs up all around in here, even the eye, the side of the nose. So if it feels good, let the head hang, or even just prop your bottom hand up for the head. If that's not achievable, using a block or a couple of books for the elbow to rest on. For some, it can be a real challenge to shift into this more surrendered state in our practice, able to soften our bodies and disengage a little. What happens when we provide ourselves with just that little bit of support, whether it be resting the head in the hand or just letting yourself be held a little by the props. We start to witness our bodies take a sigh. And in turn, we restore our nervous system. Explore the pose these last couple of breaths. Maybe letting the head go completely. Lean back a little. And then slowly just bring both hands to either side of the extended leg. Walk your way back up, the way you came in. And slowly square back round to the front. Take a lean back, extend the legs for a moment. When you feel ready, bring the opposite leg, the right foot into the left inner thigh. And the legs don't need to be really wide. Just let them drop in a natural place. Keep your things handy and then start to turn the belly button towards that extended leg. Doesn't need to be really pulled around, just to a point where there's a little bit of effort, but you can definitely stay. Leading from the heart, deepening into that hip crease through the front there. Soften the knee. Start to bring yourself forward. If you've got a bit of range there, you might bring something under this front, under the front thigh there, or even supporting the forehead. Just noticing how it feels on this side, maybe a little different to the other side. And starting to sneak your way into the side bends, drawing those lower ribs through in front of you, rolling the top shoulder open. You're letting the hand drape into your lower back there, or just let it drop by your side. Just play with leaning back slightly there, so you get this really nice side sensation, side body sensation. Feel free to support the head or just let it hang and bring some sensation up around here. And in traditional Chinese medicine, the stomach and spleen meridians are the meridians that represent the earth element. One of the characteristics that shine bright in this element for me is the sense of grounding you get when you move through this element and these meridians. No matter what's going on around you, what has happened today, able to feel a little more supported and steady. It's by the feeling of the earth underneath you. Let it ground you, calm you. And take another nourishing breath. Very slowly support yourself back up. The final pose in this first series, we come into our dragonfly with both legs extended to the sides. Again, no need to force them wide open, just let them fall somewhere comfortably. Here's where a bolster or a couple of cushions could be really nice. Just pull them back in towards you. You can also prop them up at the end where your face is going to be. Just bringing it up to you so you can nestle in and have a little hug. So again, feel that's the lift through the sit bones, that tilt forwards through the front of the pelvis. And then just feel the belly supported by your cushions, by your bolster. Just let it soften into those supports. And then you may take your head off to one side or just bow forward, whatever feels right. Again, try to really feel the stomach soften. And as you breathe in, just gently push your stomach into the cushion. And as you breathe out, just soften and drop into the depths of your stomach. And breathe in, push your belly into your cushions. And exhale, soften your stomach and just drop in a little more. Do that a couple more times, slow it down. It's gently stimulating the stomach. You might find over time you can start to explore the depths of the pose a little more. And of course, taking the head to the opposite side. Playing with your breath to remain present. As you push your stomach into the bolster, as you inhale, maybe just pause at the top of the inhale. And then exhale all the way out, softening the belly, and pausing at the bottom. Relaxing into your natural state of breath for these last couple of breaths. And then very slowly walk your way back up. And take your props off to the side. Might feel nice to windshield wiper the knees a couple of times. Or it might feel good just to bring the knees into your chest and wrap your arms around them. This is a gentle counter pose. And then continue that counter pose over into child's pose for a couple of breaths. Any variation, whatever works. Just coming back into your center there for a moment or two. Feeling your two legs, your two hips, your spine, your shoulders. And take another long and lingering breath. Then come on up onto all fours. You could take downward dog here as a transition pose, or just stay on hands and knees, whatever feels right. I'm going to place the right foot forward with the knee over the ankle. Here's where a couple of blocks or large books or a bolster could be nice for the two hands. We're going to come up into our upright lunge here. You'll see that back thigh is pretty vertical, the hip stacked over top of the knee. And that might be where you stay, just placing the hands to the front thigh for a little bit of support. You feel a little bit of support up through the front to support the lower back. You might like to start to hinge forward, letting the pelvis drop forward and down. Staying upright in the upper body, just getting some stimulation through the front line. That back leg up into the belly, into the heart. Soften the shoulders, lead from the heart. Take another beautiful breath, lifting up through the chest. And slowly making your way down a little further. So you can inch the foot out a little wider. Keep the toes pointing forward here. And then just bring the hands to the inside of that right foot at the front. If that feels okay and more release in the upper body is calling you, would always place blocks on top of your bolster to bring it up a little more. And come down onto your forearms. And as we feel both sides of the pelvis dropping, can you also feel a sense of draping down through the sides of the ribs? Take another long breath. Full breath out. And then just start to turn the toes open on this front foot. Stay where you are. Turn these toes out. Maybe roll onto the knife edge, onto the pinky toe edge of the foot. Curling the toes back just to support the knee joint. And feeling this right leg winging open as you remain in that low variation of the lunge, called winged dragon. Last few breaths here. Stay where you are. Try to ride any waves of intensity with your breath. And there will be intensity. Our hips hold a whole lot of stuff. Physical and emotional. Tend to get really trapped in the hips. So let that stuff come up. Again, like a visitor. Let it be there, but know that it's not permanent. It's not always going to be there. Just be polite to your visitor. Welcome anything in. Take another breath. Good. Stay there. If you're on your forearms, slowly start to walk back onto your hands. So we're going to reverse our way back up. Wriggle the right toes back to hip width. Bring your hands either to your bolster or to the floor. And then just start to straighten that front leg out a little or a lot, sending both of your sit bones back into your half splits. Just gently flexing these toes back a little. Pull back through that right outer hip. Just a minute here. Just to counter where we've been. If you want to honor yourself and head into more of a full splits, again using the cushioning of a support, go for it. Honor your body, honor your wishes. Beautiful. And then slowly, almost lazily, start to press into your hands. Slide that right foot back. Come back to your knees. Feel free to pause in child's pose. Or go back to downward dog for a couple of breaths. Maybe gently walking the heels out. Feel the two sides of the body, sensations from where you've just been. And then nice and easy, start to bring the left foot forward. Knee over front ankle. And come up into that upright variation of your lunge. If there's any tenderness in that back knee, just placing a cushion or a piece of clothing underneath it, soften the load there. Just bringing the hands to the front thigh. Feel the tailbone heavy. Feel the heart open, the shoulders gliding down your back. Let that earth energy under your front foot, under your back shin, bolster you up. Create some buoyancy in your body. Free to bring your hands to the floor if that feels good. We're keeping the body up just for another few breaths. Lovely. Start to bring the hands to the floor. Wriggle that front foot out just a little. Bring the hands to the inside of the left foot. Of course, bringing your hands to blocks or a bolster, cushions. If it feels okay to come onto your forearms, go for it. But don't rush. Maybe just hang out here for a couple of breaths. Allow the sides of your ribs to soften down. Soften your face. Good, and continuing to explore. Wriggle those left toes out to the side of your mat. Open onto the pinky toe edge if you can, or stay with a flat foot. Flexing the toes back if you're on the pinky toe, and just keep that knee working out over the toes. Maybe come down into your winged dragon. Last 5 breaths here. Slow them down. Close your eyes. Spread your body towards the earth. Take another long and lingering breath. Good. Slowly walk your way back up. Wriggle your toes back into the midline, out in front of the hip. And then start to send the hips back, peeling those left toes off the mat. Send that left outer hip back and your heart forward. Just feel the sensation shift into the back of the left leg. Notice if you bend the knees slightly. Does that change things? See if you can direct some sensation right up into where the leg meets the pelvis. For the last few breaths here, feel free to slide the front foot forward a little further into the fuller variation. And acknowledging the imbalances in your body. So let go of a little something else. Last couple of breaths. Beautiful. And really slowly sneak that front leg back. Once again, taking downward dog or a child's pose, just for a couple of breaths to pause, come back into your center. And as you feel ready, slip down onto your stomach. Take a load off, yeah? And feel the full support of your mat. You begin to prop yourself up on your forearms for Sphinx pose. So tonight we're not going to focus so much on the back bending element here, but more onto bringing some sensation and a little bit of pressure into the belly. So if it feels okay for you, bend your knees here and work the feet up towards the ceiling. And if you want a little bit more compression, you could use something like a blanket between your front ribs and your front hips, either rolled or just folded. Take care if you've got food in your stomach though, this might be too much. So feel free just to take that blanket out. And as you prop yourself up and slide your shoulders down your back, breathe in and gently press your belly into the blanket or the mat. Breathe out and soften the belly and just let the blanket or mat drop deeper. Do that 3 or 4 times in your own time. Just feel any tender spots and feel the potential to dive into that stomach area in the physical sense. But also in that sense of awareness. Maybe shifting back into a more natural state of breath, or continuing with that breath focus, that inhale, pressing into the mat or the blanket, and exhale, releasing. Last minute here, maybe close your eyes, maybe fold your head forward a little. Take another beautiful breath. Slowly releasing down onto your stomach. Just take a breath. Again, feeling the full support of your mat and spreading out. And then as you feel ready, maybe just staying facing the way you are, slip onto your back. And keeping the feet flat, the knees bent. Just going to let the knees roll off to one side into a windshield wiper twist. Just hold here. Let the weight of your legs drop you in. Gently encourage your belly to spin in the opposite direction to your knees. And then if you want to play with it a little more, you could place, if your knees are off to the right, place your right foot on the left knee. If that feels too strong, just relax the foot to the floor. Really focus every exhale now on just spreading the body out. There's always a little more we can release. A little something we can slide off or let go of. Take another breath here. Slowly placing both feet back to the mat. Gently draw the knees back to the sky. Maybe just windshield wiper them a couple of times from side to side. And eventually letting the knees fall over to the left this time. And if either of the legs are floating and feel uncomfortable, sliding a blanket or block underneath there. Let the legs be heavy. And if it feels good to place that left foot on the right knee, go for it. Spiral the belly over to the right. Let your head fall wherever it feels good. And continue to tune into your breath and its capacity there to bring a sense of ease and nourishment into our bodies. And once you feel balanced, slowly stay a little longer if you need. Slowly start to bring the knees back up to center. Again, maybe a little rolling action from side to side. Maybe drawing the knees into your chest. And nice and slow, slip into a comfortable position for Shavasana. Maybe with your cushions, your bolsters underneath your knees. Maybe placing a piece of clothing over your eyes to block out the light. Please give yourself this time to pause and for your body to soak up its practice. I'm also going to take you through a little scan of your body, and in particular, a scan of the stomach meridian. Close your eyes, feel the support of your mat, feel the support of the earth. Beginning at the side of the nose, the stomach meridian rises to the inner corners of the eyes. It then descends along the sides of the nose to enter the upper gum and follow the outer lips to the lower jaw. It branches here. The first branch ascending along the front of the ear to the forehead. The second branch descends through the body to the diaphragm and runs to the stomach and the spleen. A third branch emerges from the lower jaw and runs across the outside of the body, crossing the chest and belly until it lands in the groin. The line that runs through the stomach reconnects with this third branch and runs downward along the front of the leg, reaching the top of the foot. Splitting again with the main branch, ending in the outside tip of the second toe. Just noticing if there's any sensations in any of those areas of your body. Acknowledge that. Let us now rest and breathe out to release any worry, any thoughts, any need to analyze now. Soak it up. invite you to stay longer, as long as you can, to get the most out of your practice. Take your time and have an incredibly restful evening or day whenever you choose to practice. Namaste.